Right, in this video, I want to explain to you why you must invest now, or the best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time is today. Okay, I'm going to show you very simple concepts to explain to you if you're not convinced of why you must invest now. Okay, because you must understand something called asset inflation and wage inflation. Okay, so in financial accounting, if you didn't go to business school, in financial accounting, what they say an asset is any resource that can be used to produce positive economic value over time. Okay, so an asset, the value of it will grow over time, right? An asset starts from here, it goes to here, it grows in economic value over time. Okay, so that's basically an asset. All right. Okay, so the first thing you need to understand is like the rich own everything. They own everything in the world, and there is wealth distribution and inequality of wealth because the wealthy or the rich people understand what asset inflation is. Okay, so you can see here, 1% of the world population owns about 45% of the wealth in the world. All right, so they own 109 trillion, $190 trillion of assets and stuff. All right, whereas the 39% of the world, for example, owns 163 trillion, and then the bottom of the world basically owns nothing. Okay, so it's a bit staggering, right? How very few people control everything, basically. Okay, so you might be asking, because everybody is born, everybody's human, right? So how do people get to this stage? For example, it's because they invest in assets. All right. Okay, so if you didn't know, for example, in the past 5 years, the S&P 500 has increased about 89% so far. All right, so it just means that, for example, if you had $1 million sitting in your invested into the markets, for example, right, by the end of the 5 years, right, that 1 million has become 1.86 million, and you didn't have to do anything. You didn't have to be smart. You don't have to own a business. You don't have to be extremely good at one particular sport or skill, right? All you had to do was invest that money, and that 1 mil, for example, has become 1.8 million. All right, not everybody has $1 million. Very few people have it, but if you have 100K or 50K, it's the same concept, right? Your 100K has become 186K in 5 years, basically. All right. So this is what I mean by, yeah, the rich own everything, and this is how they grow their wealth, right? No matter what happens, they park their wealth in assets that grow over time, have positive economic value. Okay, the second graph is asset inflation. Okay, asset inflation. You need to understand this concept because the pace of inflation of the value of assets will grow faster than, for example, real economic growth. It will grow faster than your wages, your salary. It grows faster than most things. Okay, so you can see, for example, you read the news or whatever, a stock has popped 20%, 30%. All right, does your salary increase 20 to 30% overnight? Probably not, right? So you must understand, it's like assets grow faster than wage, significantly faster. All right, so that's why the quicker you can get a bunch of cash or liquidity or whatever you want to call it into the system where you have assets, you own assets, the richer you'll get, the faster you get. All right, because everybody in the market is basically, you're on the same team, right? If you buy into a stock, if you buy into an index, for example, everybody in the index is on the same team. Everybody wants it to go up, for example, right? Majority. Okay, so this is the second graph you need to understand. It's like assets grow faster than your wage, they grow faster than whatever it is you have and your earned income. All right. Okay, the next one you need to understand is like wage growth, right? So do salaries increase very fast? Probably not. And even if they do, for example, they're gonna increase maybe what, 5-10% every single year, 10-15%. At most, maybe you jump your job, right? You get an increment of 30%, 50%, or you 2x your salary, right? But how many 2x's are you gonna get in your lifetime? Right? Most jobs, they will cap out at a certain period unless you work in a finance or tech or whatever. But even in a finance or tech, there is a cap, right? So there's always wage growth, right? Wage growth, you can see over here, is hovering about 0% to 7%, right? You can see the market itself has grown 89% in 5 years, all right? Where your salary is growing at what, 0 to 7% every single year, okay? So you can see the price of stuff is also increasing. So actually, you're not making any money at all, okay? Like your wages are increasing, but at the same time, prices of stuff like cost of living increases in correlation with your wages. So on a net basis, after you calculate everything, you're not making any money, basically. All right. So this is something like people don't understand. Like, there's inflation. Even though you have a salary, like, inflation is cutting away at your salary if you didn't know this. Okay. And then, so how do you actually get wealthy, right? So you earn a bunch of income. This can be from your business. This can be from your salary. This can be from anywhere, right? And then you take a bunch of it, you're gonna spend it, and then you're gonna save a bunch of it, and your savings are gonna be put into an asset that will increase in value over time, basically. Really simple, but most people don't do it. Yeah. All right. And then, so this is the compounding graph. Okay, if you can see, like, if you don't invest anything, like your investments don't go anywhere, right? You put in $1,000, and $1,000 doesn't go anywhere if you don't invest it. If you have simple interest, it goes to 2,000. If you have compound interest over time, it's 4,000, for example, right? It's the same concept here, right? It's gonna start really slow, but as long as you start, that's what matters, right? As long as you start, yeah. All right, and yeah. So if this is a very famous quote, right? I'm sure you know this. If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die, basically, right? And that is why the rich become richer. That's how they amass 45% of the entire world's wealth. All right. So this is the last thing of this video. So earn income is income where you wake up, you go to the office, you put in your 9 hours, your 10 hours, whatever it is, right? This is the money you make from your job, your salary, your wages, commissions, and tips. This is called earned income. It's called active income as well, right? So active income is where you put your blood, sweat, and tears, and you have a skill set, you provide it to the marketplace rewards you based on that skill set, right? That's earned income. And then there's passive income. Passive income is money you make from something you own without selling it, okay? So yeah, if I own a piece of a company, if I own a share, a stock, or whatever it is, I own an asset like Bitcoin, for example, it increases over time. Yeah, that's passive income, right? Because you're not going to do anything, and your 1 mil is still going to go to 1.86 mil over time, right? You just gotta wait, right? Yeah. So this is why you must invest now. The longer you wait, right? The longer you watch this video, for example, right? The less time you have for this to really move up the curve right here, right? And most people cannot think about 10 years, 15 years down. They only can think tomorrow, right? You can't even think 5 years down, honestly. Most people can't, right? So you can't really see the compound forming. Yeah, but if you just start right now, right? If you just start, and it doesn't have to be crazy. It doesn't have to be crazy at all, right? If you start at $100 per month, right? That is 1,200 invested in a year, right? If that's $1,000 per month, that you understand, it's like $12,000 per year, right? But if you really are very aggressive, for example, you put 2,000 in per month, that's 24,000 a year, right? And 24,000, 25 times 5 years. For example, you do this for 5 years. Imagine you don't invest it, right? It's about 100K or so, right? But if you do invest it, for example, right, even at the S&P level or whatever it is, right, it becomes what, 150, 160, right? So your hard work, for example, it works harder for you just because you made a decision to invest. All right, and so you must start now, and you must understand inflation. Like, asset inflation is a real thing. Like, it will benefit the rich. It will keep benefiting the rich, the rich people. All right, and wage inflation is gonna go against you. All right, if you have a wage, it's fine. You just gotta put that wage, and just want to make sure that you put your stuff and it compounds. All right, see you in the next video.